What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of V4 Attack on Titan, the final season. This is episode, what are we on again?
26?
26, yeah, okay. So with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
So it looks like we're already nearing the end of this part of the season, unless, they announce something else by the end of it. But yeah, so we pick up where the Alliance arrive at the port and see that the Jaegerists have pretty much taken control of it and taking the Azumabito delegation hostage. And right now they're trying to the Alliance is trying to take this flying boat parked at the port. Of course, we know it's just like a seaplane of sorts. So, but of course, members of the Alliance are still conflicted on whether or not they should kill off several members of the Jaegerists, because they're people that they obviously know during their scout days. But of course, Reiner and Annie aren't keen on holding back and trying to kill the Jaegerists just to obtain the boat. So this leads into a bit of an argument between them and the other scouts, just trying to figure out on how to deal with this. Armin, of course, wants to try to do this peacefully without having to get into a conflict. But of course, they realize that it's not going to be as easy as they really think, because many of the Jaegerists, including Flock, are pretty much dug in their beliefs that they should, keep Eren into committing genocide.
Yeah. And not to mention, we do have I guess Magath's kind of seemingly having a bit of a change of heart, where he actually apologizes to basically, I think it was Reiner, Annie, Armin, and the others about having about what they all went through, I guess. My only issue with that is that it seems like it happens a little bit too quickly, especially considering in just the last episode he was still pretty he was still pretty racist against the Eldians, talking about what happened 2,000 years ago and all that, and now all of a sudden he's had somewhat of a change of opinion. It would be fine if this happened gradually, but I feel like it happened way too quick. But I think the same could probably be said about the Alliance in general, about how they're kind of just friendly with each other a little bit too quickly.
Yeah. Before this, Magath just pretty much goes off on Yelena, just pretty much breaking her left. Christ. Yeah, just pretty much breaking her arm, trying to force her, to tell him where is Eren going, because earlier on in the episode, Magath noticed that there was a huge plop of steam by the horizon, and they can tell it's just pretty much from the Titans from the walls just emitting steam and probably destroying some far off country, possibly Marley, if they were to guess.
Yeah, they speculate that by this point the Colossal Titans have already gotten to Marley.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to know on how quickly these Titans can really just go across the sea like that, or even how far Marley is from Parody Island. So it's hard for me to.
I think I remember they did show a map at one point in the series, but I don't remember exactly the distance.
Yeah, I mean it's hard for me to really even believe that something that big can really just make it through sea that quickly, unless they know how to swim. But my guess is they just walk through the entire ocean.
they just walked. The Titans, the Colossal Titans are I guess next to the Founding Titans, some of the biggest Titans. So I think they could walk through the water. I think that's pretty much what they did.
Yeah. But anyway, so we go back. We pretty much go back to Flock taking Azumabito hostage, and he's pretty much killing off several members of the delegation just to keep them from operating that the seaplane or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
I think it's just the reason why the Alliance wants to save the Ozma Beto delegation is because like they have technicians that know how to fly and maintain the boat, the flying boat. So they need to keep them alive in order to operate it. But not to mention that the Ozma Beto and of her technicians are pretty good at like on the technological aspect of things that and of course they know that the colossal titans are going to trample their homeland sooner or later as well.
Yeah, which might be why Ozma Beto isn't really on board with the rumbling, because we do have a scene where Flock kind of I guess kind of monologues to Ozma Beto about how great the rumbling is, and of course Ozma Beto doesn't really agree, and she eventually actually there is a scene where Flock is pretty much holding a gun to her head, and it seems like Flock might have shot her, but she actually ends up getting the upper hand, and kind of at least temporarily.
Well, actually no.
Getting the better
before this, Armin and Connie right at the port, trying to pretend that they're still on Flock's side, and they try. Yeah, so they try to run to the port only for them to find out that the boat is strapped with explosives, and they try to convince I think one of the two Jaegerists, I think their names are Samuel and Diaz, to get rid of the explosives. At first, the things are going well, and then pretty much things go south, like what you just mentioned with Ozma Beto just pretty much taking down Flock from trying to shoot her in the head.
Yeah. And I mean, this scene with Connie and Armin and these other two characters is pretty tense because they kind of mentioned that they heard that they had sided with, or that they'd sided with the Marleyans, and this whole time they're trying to kind of fool them and convince them that that's not the case, and it just kind of gradually just escalates more throughout the episode.
Yeah, and while Ozma Beto is trying to take down Flock, Mikasa, of course, charges in and just pretty much takes down every member of the Jaegerists in that room, and saving Ozma Beto and the rest of the delegation. And of course, at the same time, Jean and the others arrive to help them out, and then they keep themselves holed up inside of a basement, while Annie and Reiner are at the same time are just slaughtering the Jaegers all around the port.
So what do you think about how Mappa handled the female Titan?
It looked pretty decent. I think
I think it looked good. There were some scenes where it was obviously like they transitioned between CG and 2D, but I think for the most part it looked fine.
Yeah, I think it was mostly Reiner's Titan form that had a little bit more CG than usual. But I think
it did. Pretty much every time the Armor Titan shows up, it seems to be CG.
Yeah, but it seems like the female Titan is more traditionally hand drawn in this one compared to Reiner's. But I thought the scene was animated pretty well in terms of Annie using her Titan form again.
Yeah, I think the Titans in general this season have looked significantly better than they did in part one.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think it's more down to production issues.
Yeah, Mappa has had more time to work on part two, so that probably has something to do with it.
Yeah. So, well, like back at the port, like we see Armin and Connie just trying to talk down Samuel and Diaz from trying to blow up the boat, but Armin just literally just gets shot several times, including through the face as well. And Connie just tries to do his absolute best, just to try to convince those two not to blow up the boat, until it gets to the point where Armin takes one of them down from blowing up the boat, and Connie takes another one of them down, takes his gun, and just basically just shoots both of them, and he just completely just snaps after that.
That scene was brutal. Just not just Armin getting shot and well, pretty much I mean, if if he got shot a little bit higher, he would have been dead, or well, probably would have been dead. But yeah, like just Connie's also, you can tell he's trying to like he's really trying to like not kill this guy, but he eventually like you said, he eventually pretty much snaps, and realizes that I guess the only way to save Armin and himself is to shoot both of them. And we also get like this flashback scene. I think it was Bertolt that said like you can't, I forget what he said exactly. It was something like you can't like it's almost impossible not to get blood on your hands or something like that. Or sometimes you have to get your hands dirty, I guess. Something along those lines. But yeah, like and I think it was actually it was Armin that kind of flashback to that. But yeah, that was I like how they're really not censoring much of anything with this season, and they're just kind of showing pretty much everything. I mean, we saw that when Eren got his head blown off, so like, I mean, I'm not really surprised they showed Armin getting shot like that. I will be honest though, I did not really see that coming. I didn't expect Armin to get shot, but like I said, if he got shot a little bit, if he gets shot a little bit higher, he would have been done. But we all know that he can probably just regenerate his skin or something, considering he's a Titan shifter. But yeah, that's more or less where the episode ends. I mean, it's just Connie just screaming, and I really have to commend the voice actor who's voicing Connie in the Japanese one, at least. Like he did a really good job conveying all these emotions, like especially in that scene where his character is just, you can tell his character is just going through a lot in that moment.
Yeah.
Especially just due to the facial expressions and, his voice acting too, just the combination of that.
Yeah.
I thought that was like probably one of the best scenes of the episode, honestly.
Yeah. A lot of the voice acting has been top notch this season. Like,
yeah.
Like particularly like if you remember, like Eren's father had a shining moment with his acting. I think during that one of the last episodes that he was in. So I definitely like that one. This one. I think another thing Mop has been nailing is like the complex facial expressions on characters at certain points, because you saw it with John and you see it with that one episode with Eren. Well, not Eren, but Eren's with Eren's father. And also in this episode as well, with Connie just like having like he just looks like he's horrified by what he's having to do. So I mean, I have to commend them for that with that as well. They were, it's I like that they've done that with this season. But yeah, there's not too much else to say. It really felt like we definitely needed this kind of episode after the last one, which was pretty dialogue heavy, and this is definitely more action oriented. It looks like, based on the next episode preview too, it's going to be I guess it's going to be obviously a continuation of the Alliance versus the Jaegerists, but also it looks like it might be a one-on-one with Mikasa versus Floch, based on the way the preview was. So that'll be interesting. I think we all know who will probably come out of that one, obviously. But it'll still be interesting to watch. Yeah. Other than that, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode. It's definitely one of the better looking episodes so far. It just leaves you wanting more, which is pretty typical with Attack on Titan. Yeah.
But I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, I am liking how the show is going, but I'm still criticizing the fact that they're still calling this the final season, even though like we're not even at the end yet.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit misleading. I mean, it is technically like, this is the getting towards the end of the story, but it's maybe it should have been called something else, but I can understand. I guess I can kind of understand why they're calling it the final season, but since the beginning of the final season, there still was quite a few chapters they really needed to adapt before they got to the end, and of course, as we know, they're probably not going to end it with this part anyway. So it's kind of, unless they come out with, I don't know, like a really long final episode or something, but I kind of doubt that. So technically, yeah, it's still not the end.
Yeah. We literally had to wait an entire year for this part of the season to come out after the first part of the final season came out. So we don't even know like what the status is on the next part of the story, if there's going to be like some kind of special episode later this year, or we're going to have to wait an entire year until 2023 in order to find out how this, the actual final part of the season is going to play out.
I'm thinking that's more and more likely, honestly. I feel like the most likely thing to happen is we're going to have to wait a year or two, and then there's going to be a movie to end things. I think that's the most likely scenario, but I guess we'll just have to wait till the last episode to see what happens. Just to see, because that's probably when they're going to announce that. Yeah. That all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.